Hey everyone, this is a relatively short video essay that I'm catering towards up-and-coming builders who may want to get better at this little thing called hybrid building. Our community is full of people who just build dominoes and people who just build machines, and hybrid builders know, to an extent, how to build them both. That means either making both kinds of projects individually or coming up with ways to combine them. It is exceptionally rare that a builder just starts nailing both kinds of projects right out the gate, and hybrid builders in this community usually start with either dominoes or machines and then slowly learn the other art form over time. Most of this community knows that I started out as just a domino builder and picked up machines after posting only domino videos for 3 years. Over the 7 years since then, I've been turning my machine style into something completely separate from my domino style. It's a pretty big commitment, yeah, and I think it's time that I made a video documenting the steps it took to get here, bringing up some of the barriers hybrid builders overcome, and sharing some major takeaways about managing two build styles. So I'll start with just a short rundown of the build journey that I took to get to this point. My style when it came to building dominoes incorporated a lot of other objects like collapsing platforms, tipping buckets, and simple track tricks. And I felt that if I could already incorporate those machine-like elements into domino chains, it was worth a shot to start trying machines, which I started building in 2015. Of course, it always takes a while to develop your own style and start thinking of more independent ideas and also take the domino lines and other domino building techniques out of your machine style. But it's worth it, since by 2018 and 2019 I was finally building machines just as frequently as I built dominoes, and I had a pretty complete and recognizable machine style. But I do think my style has further changed since then to be less intricate and more minimalistic, with more deliberate and less cluttered motions. And with what I'm building today, I think I can now provide some interesting perspective into my machine building approach, having come from dominoes. Let's start with machine connections and transitions, because there are a lot of similar community tutorials on individual techniques, but everyone puts those techniques in sequence in their own way. Coming from being a domino builder, when you start to think of machine transitions, it's a pretty common habit to just think of domino lines. Like, what does that object hit? A domino line. Or what leads up to the ball release? A domino line. But it's not a bad starting point to just think of what lever or ball on track combinations can fill the distance instead. I like making these popsicle stick levers, for example, and you can use a couple different kinds of them to cover the distance that domino lines would. Like, that's no longer a full domino line leading from there to there, that's one domino to a lever to the weight. And it looks so much cleaner. So yeah, I went through a whole learning phase of turning domino lines into lever and ball on track combinations. I wasn't perfect, but that was the starting point for me. As you get better, you can replace them with other objects and motions, but I can't really teach that. This example is just the clearest. I feel like something that also stumps people starting out with machines is thinking about adding too much unnecessary motion variety. Thoughts like, if you have a rubber duck, it has to squirt water like rubber ducks do, or a wrench would have to unscrew something like wrenches do, and that intimidates people from making longer machines with lots of objects, fearing that they can't control all those motions. But honestly, machines don't have to be that complicated. There are only a few motions out there that are manageable and consistent, like dropping, tipping, spinning, etc., and you can still use a wide variety of objects to perform those simpler motions. In this machine, I'm still using this rubber duck, but it's a weight. It just drops. So it's adding to the object variety without complicating the sequence. It's then much easier to make complicated sequences out of those simple motions. I mean, I would exhaust myself trying to use a bunch of objects that all do their own gimmick, so when I'm using many different objects, I tend to revolve them around motions first. But then we come to the big question: is hybrid building worth it? It took me 7 years to get to where I am today, but still 3 or 4 years to get somewhere substantial. And a big part of learning a new build style is also learning how to gel it into your current one. Because I have an intricate domino style already, adding machines sometimes doesn't help. It really is just an extra push, but it can be worth it for project versatility. Sometimes evolving your build style over time means committing to learning a new one, rather than trying to make better and more complex ideas under your current one. So why not make yourself a more versatile and/or marketable builder in the meantime? You may upload your first hybrid videos and you may not like them, but we all start somewhere. If anything, it's not going to make you look worse, since you're already building off a style you've already established. So overall, hybrid building has been worth it for me, and those are all the things I've realized about it coming from dominoes. You don't have to be the best builder at both art forms, you just have to make your style distinct, and that's the best way that people will recognize that you do both. So don't think too much into specific designs that other builders use. There's no set way that steps are supposed to look like, and just know that sometimes that all takes time. If you've been thinking about becoming a hybrid builder, I hope this encourages you to give it a try.